Hey there, happy Monday. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot, actually. No big surprise there. If you know me, that's kind of something I do on a regular basis. But no, seriously, I've been thinking a lot lately about just the reality of how many lives I get to kind of enter into and see from a very different vantage point than everybody else sees. And one of the things that's been a repetitive conversation that I've had a lot lately is that we're all the same. We've all been there. And when I say there, if you're listening to this, you probably know what I mean. That dark place, that hole, that place that you feel stuck and bound and that you can't get out of. And, I've been reflecting on that a lot lately and realized that, I think it's time that I share my story about that, because it's really easy to look at my life now and see what I have. I mean, I have a beautiful romance. I have two amazing kids. I have a thriving business. I'm a competitive power lifter. I have a lot, right? And as I meet people, I often get people thinking that that's kind of always the way it's been and that I'm just fortunate. But the truth is that it hasn't always been that way. And that hole that you might be sitting in, that vastness that you might be experiencing, is something that I know really well because I've been there. So this isn't really something I've ever shared with anybody before, except for Brian. I mean, he knows, obviously, because as I tell the story, you're going to recognize that he was obviously there. But God, my heart is like pounding. Not because I'm like embarrassed or ashamed or anything like that, because I think vulnerability is beautiful. But I guess my heart's pounding because even as I'm talking about it, it's coming back to me, this moment, and it was just so profound in my life. I'm gonna get all emotional and cry on you. But it was about 5 years ago, and my life had gone through some very serious renovations, but I thought I had everything that I wanted, right? So there I was with Brian, sitting in our kitchen. He had moved in just a few months ago, and our nightly routine was to kind of sit in the kitchen and talk and chat. And so I was perched up on top of our kitchen counter, and I was in the process of making some really big decisions about my career. And Brian asked me, I mean, God, I remember this so well. Brian asked me, "What do you want?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what do I want?" And he goes, "Well, what do you want in life? What do you want for your career? What do you want for your training? What do you want?" And I was just overcome with this like unbelievable emotion because I had absolutely no idea. Like, if you've experienced that moment, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment where all of a sudden you stop and you think and you're empty. You're empty because you have no clue at all what you want. And everything from the last 10 years of my life just flowed in. And I was like, everything that I thought I wanted all of a sudden didn't make sense anymore. And I was confused and I was overwhelmed and the tears were streaming down my face. I sobbed like a baby, and I'm sure Brian will chime in on this at some point today and comment on it because he remembers it so well. We reflect on it so often. But I felt just like more lost in that moment than the day I decided to leave my marriage. I felt so lost. And even with Brian sitting 5 feet in front of me, I felt so confused and alone because for the first time in my life, I felt like I really didn't know what I wanted. And, I looked back and realized that I thought I had it all, right? I had, when I was when I was in my early 20s, I bought a house, I got married, I had 2 kids, I had, my own business. I was doing well on all the ostensible factors of what you would consider for what you should want in life based on what we're conditioned in society. And yet, there I sat on the cusp of new, having absolutely no idea. And it was scary. I was about to swear, but it was really scary. And I remember sitting there we sat there for like an hour, and I realized even in the hour discussion that I had no idea. All of a sudden, none of it made sense. So I say all that to say that what you see now in my life wasn't always what was. And I had to find it. And, I just said and like 5 times. And that hole that you're in, or that someone is in, I know it. I've been there. I know what all of a sudden it's like to look in the mirror and open your eyes for what feels like the first time in your life and realize you have absolutely no clue. No idea which way to turn, which way to go. You've lost everything that you once thought you were. I work with a lot of women. So women who, I experience this every day. Women who don't remember what it's like to feel sexy, who don't know what it's like to have passion in life and purpose in life. And it's just not exclusive to women. I mean, men and women, we all experience it, right? So I'm here to say that wherever you are, if you are in that place and you're on the journey to, moving out of it, kudos to you. And if you're in that hole now and you're listening to me and you resonate with this, that like you don't know how to get out of that hole. You don't know how to get rid of the darkness. And your days are consumed with so much sadness and so much confusion. If you're there, can I just say it doesn't have to be that way. Like it doesn't have to be that way. The path was one that I traveled myself. I'm only where I am today because I chose to walk the path. But I don't forget those days. I don't forget those days because those days are what made me what I am today. They were the catalyst to grow. And I'm so blessed to work with so many people around the world who think they're never going to get out of that hole. And I watch them as they climb and we walk together. And I remember my journey. And I share every part of my journey with them because together we can walk and together we can make a difference. And your life just does not have to be that way. So clearly you can tell that this is very true to my heart. And I just really wanted you to know, whether you follow me on Facebook or I work with you or we're friends or whatever the case may be, I just wanted you to know that like, I get it because I've been there. And I know the way out because I've done it. And you don't have to be there. So I hope that this has, touched you on some level, either in reflection of how far you've come or offering even an iota of faith of the fact that you can get out from where you are and you are prepared to embrace the journey of it. So that's really it. That's just me, naked and vulnerable and exposed and sharing with you that I understand. I understand and I get it. So, let's not stop there. Let's not leave you in isolation. So if, this resonated with you, if you felt something from this, open up, even if it's just a heart, even if it's just a comment, even if it's just I get that. Comment below, send me a private message. I'm opening my inbox to you. Send me a private message. Share this with someone who might need this message today. Because if I can do it, you can. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. So from my home, my heart to you, have a great day.